Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It is the second day of September 2024. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I hope you and your family are safe and healthy and that you and your family are enjoying your weekend. Those of you who get the day off for the Labor Day weekend, blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are out here doing their best to save lives. And those that pick up garbage, keep our places clean. Enjoy your day off. Those also that make deliveries for our convenience. Enjoy your day off. Those also that are out here trying, they don't get a day off, that are trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia, people that are also victims of pornography and child pornography, human trafficking, sex, slavery, prostitution, child prostitution, double curses on the perpetrators, the perverts, and the profiteers that are out here creating these industries. Finally, double blessings upon the homeless. Even today, there are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children, veterans, senior citizens, homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Today, I wanted to discuss Jericho Sims. We talked about it yesterday in the live stream, and Jericho's situation is unusual, but he, in and of himself, is a sign of the progress that the Knicks have made. Jericho Sims was drafted in 2021. This is his third year here, 2024. That 2021 draft was one of the most stacked drafts in recent memory. That was the draft. And if you look at, and I can't name all of the players that are still in the league because there's a lot of these guys that are still in the league, but just the players that have signed major extensions, starters, or bench players that are making contributions or strong contributions. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Suggs, Josh Giddey, Jonathan Kuminga, Franz Wagner, Davion Mitchell, Zaire Williams. They're all still making, important contributions to their team. Corey Kispert, Moses Moody, Albert Sangoon, Trey Murphy III. And again, I'm not naming everybody, so I don't need y'all coming on and telling me, oh, you forgot this one, you forgot that one. But I'm just looking at the ones that make, in my view, the heaviest impact 3 years later. Isaiah Jackson, Quentin Grimes, Bones Highland, Cameron Thomas, Deron Sharp, Aldama, Santi Aldama, who starts sometimes and comes off the bench for Memphis, and then Isaiah Todd. And then of course Herb Jones, 35th pick, second round starter for the Pelicans. Deuce McBride, 36th pick that year. J.T. Thor, still a contributor for his team, and then Ayu Dosunmu, who has started many games for the Bulls, and it continues. Isaiah Livers for Detroit. And of course that year, and of course we mentioned like a Sharif Cooper that some of y'all was tripping to get, and I was telling you no, he's no longer in the league. He was 48 pick that year, but Jericho Sims, Charles Bassey, Luke Garza, these guys are still playing roles in their teams. But Jericho Sims was picked 58 that year. So the Knicks that year, they got Jericho Sims, Deuce McBride. They also drafted Joku Rokobitis, who really didn't work out because there's not enough room on the team to give him minutes. And then, of course, there's Quentin Grimes, who went from New York to Detroit, now going to get his shot in his home state of Texas, in Dallas. I expect him to play well. I was hoping he was second on my depth chart behind Trey Murphy III. And so I was glad the Knicks got him. But he started a number of games, but it was just the Knicks ended up getting OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. So you can't, Anyway, so Jericho Sims was the 58th pick that year. Jericho has not had really the opportunity to really show his skills. It's hard for a player in the league to get that opportunity when they're in a stacked team. And especially the thing is that any player in the league needs, with fewer exceptions, there are exceptions, but any player in the league needs consistent minutes. And it's not always easy to get. And in Jericho Sims' case, he has not been able to get consistent minutes. Now, I'm not saying the guy will be an all-star. He's going to be 26 this year in October. He's going into his prime years as a professional athlete right now, and so he's coming in at the right time, because the fact that Knicks did not get a regular, what people were pining for, second center with Mitchell Robinson after Hartenstein left, gives Sims opportunity. And I'm trusting, I've been saying, I trust in Sims. I trust in Precious to man the backup 5 minutes. I don't put doubts on them as a lot of y'all are doing. I don't trust Sims. I don't do that. Y'all need to go about your business. This boy is a Knick, drafted by the Knicks. He's going to get his opportunity. Now, the thing is, what I like about him, like I've mentioned many times, is that him and Precious seem to play well together. Now, the reason for that, at least in one sense, is that they're interchangeable. And what do I mean by that? So that Sims can guard fours and fives. I'm not talking about offense, I'm talking about defense. He can guard fours and fives. He can also guard threes. Precious can guard twos, threes, fours, and fives very effectively. Okay, and so especially in the 4 and the 5 spot. So when you're playing any team in the league and you got guys at your power forward spot and at your center spot that can switch and guard either, there's no mismatch with them with the forward center dynamic. When they're playing a Philadelphia or they're playing, a Boston, there's no mismatch with them. So whoever's the power forward, if the power forward is Jason Tatum or is Brown, whoever the power forward is, they can switch Precious and Sims. I'm not saying they could lock those guys down. Those are all NBA players, but they could hold their own for sure. There's no tremendous mismatch with them. Both of them could guard Kristaps Porzingis if they need to. So that's the kind of thing you want, from your power forward and center position. And of course, because the Knicks will also have OG as well as Mikal, they got at least, three guys at least in their starting lineup that can switch and play anybody on the floor. Okay, and then I put Juju in there for a fourth guy because I have more faith in Juju's defense at this stage of his career. So the Knicks are in good shape. So with Sims, you look at the combinations that he plays well with. The best combination for him from this past season as a 5-man lineup was Randall, DiVincenzo, Brunson, and Anunoby. They were plus 27, but of course they only played together 34 minutes, very small sample size. He also had a nice run with Hart, DiVincenzo, Brunson, and Achua. And again, Achua seems to play well with a lot of guys. Him and OG Anunoby fit in a lot of lineups, and that's going to be a plus, especially when you're talking about your second unit. So that they played together 63 minutes plus 21. You're not going to see a whole bunch of minutes with Sims because and again, his role this year, he's not a regular rotation piece. Okay, again, I'm telling you what is, not what I want, not what should be, what is. He's not a regular rotation piece. But I'm telling you, Tibbs has done this in the past. When Mitchell Robinson is out for whatever reason, Sims starts. And whoever the second string, even before Hartenstein became a starter, during the times when Mitch Rob was out during Hartenstein's, it wasn't really until this past season, second half of the season, that Hartenstein regularly started. He was coming off the bench, and Sims would start when Mitch Rob was out. And I think Tibbs is going to go back to that because Tibbs is a creature of habit, and he's comfortable with that, and I'm comfortable with that. So the games that Mitch Rob is out or is in foul trouble or whatever, you're going to see more Jericho Sims, and you're going to see Precious man the second unit. So if Mitch Rob can play 60 games, which would be huge if he could, and I believe he really will this year because the Knicks really want him to, and he really wants to, and he's very conscious of getting hurt, and I believe Tibbs they're going to all work together. And so I'm looking for 60 games from Mitchell Robinson this year. So if I can get 60 games from him, that means 22 games where Jericho Sims starts. That's a good chunk of games to have a guy starting, that's not your regular starter. So with Jericho Sims starting, you're going to see more combination of Precious and Jericho on the floor together, as you should, okay? And so Precious, Jericho, Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Hart That's basically when you're talking about your bench with Sims, you add Brunson, but really you got, three guys from Mob Deep in there. And then McBride, Sims, at the time, Burks, Bogdanovich, and Achua, they didn't play. They played 20 minutes together, plus 16. But McBride, Sims, Hart, DiVincenzo, and Achua. Now you're talking about a full contingent of Mob Deep plus Sims. So you got Precious, DiVincenzo, Hart, McBride. That's Mob Deep. And then you got Sims. They played 40 minutes together, plus 15. And I think that the more they get to play together, the better they'll be. The better they'll be as a unit. And that's what we're talking about. People like to say, well, this one's going to average this and this is going to average that. It's not really that way. How do they play together as the unit? And the real biggest statistic, one of the biggest one, well, the biggest statistic we want is how many wins are they going to get together? That's what we really want. How many wins? And the plus minus in terms of their time on the court together gives you a good indication of what they're capable of. Okay, especially the more minutes they get together, the better. See, so it was plus 18 with 103 minutes with Sims, Hart, DiVincenzo, and Achua as a four people unit on the game. And again, you're talking about Hart, Achua, and DiVincenzo. That's Mob Deep, and then you add Sims to it. That's plus 18. Okay, so you expect that to continue with those four together on there, particularly, like I said, with Achua. They play very well together. 3-man lineups. Sims, Achua, and DiVincenzo played 136 minutes together, plus 25. Okay? Achua, Sims, and Brunson, 130 minutes together, plus 17. Okay? That's the kind of thing you're talking about. And so when you look at Sims, if he's playing 22 minutes, 22 games as a starter, during those games, that's when you're going to see him play in excess of 25 minutes a game, unless he's in foul trouble. But generally, you'll see him play 20, 25, 28 minutes as a starter in those scenarios, and you'll see more Precious. You might see a little less Juju, except fourth quarters, but you might see a little less Juju, and that's no knock on Juju. That's just saying that Precious and Sims work together as a unit very, very well, and you want to win, right? So that's the object. And then, of course, in the 2-man combinations, and I'm looking at Basketball Reference, the best combination was with Achua. 244 minutes, almost 245 minutes they played together. They were plus 11. See, the best combination at two. So those two guys are very good together. Sims is going to start, and let's say, if we're blessed, Mitchell Robinson plays 65 games. That's still 17 games of Jericho Sims as a starter. I like that because that keeps Sims fresh, keeps Sims in the flow, and gives him some regular minutes. And then, of course, when Sims is not in the rotation, you still should see him about 8 minutes a game, even if he's not in the rotation. 8 minutes with Juju resting of Sims and Precious, that would be very good. Okay, so in the games he's not starting, he's going to get like 8 minutes. In games he's starting, you're going to see him play 20 to 28 minutes, maybe somewhere in the 25-minute range. So depending on how many games Mitchell Robinson plays, you'll see, given the difference between 82 games minus what Mitchell Robinson played, that's the number of games Jericho Sims should be starting, and then you'll get an idea. So I'm thinking, realistically, 22 games. If it's a realistic scenario, I'd hate to see him start 30 games, which means Mitchell Robinson is missing, 30 games. But it'd be nice if he started between 17 and 22 games, because that means Mitchell Robinson is starting 60 to 65 games, plus the playoffs. By the way, the plus minus for Jericho last year in the playoffs is really, I feel like, significant. I mean, during the course of the season, he was -7, in the game. Again, I don't contribute. I'm not trying to make excuse for him, but he wasn't getting consistent time, consistent minutes. He had to come in off the bench cold and try to fit in. But in the playoffs this past season, because of all the injuries, he had to play, right? Plus 15, plus 15. So I like that. I like that number. And that was in the NBA playoffs. So I'm looking for, we really, the Knicks, again, your strength of your team can be measured in several ways. But one of the ways they're measured is how strong is your bench unit? How strong is your eighth, ninth, 10th guys? With Jericho Sims, he's basically going to be the ninth guy. Oh, no, the 10th guy. Sorry. He's going to be the 10th guy. And like I said, you're not really going to lose a lot in the second unit with him in there. So that's really good. Again, he's going to be in his prime. He's learned how to play Thibodeau defense. He knows how to do that. He used to get in a lot of foul trouble early because he played the five. He's learned. And he's really learned Tibbs' system, period. Knows where he's supposed to be offensively, defensively, knows how to call out the defenses. He knows how to do that. That's huge. And so this being his third season, no, his fourth season in the league. This being his fourth season in the league. 2021. Wait a minute. 21, 22, 23. 24. This is his fourth season. Yeah, this will be his fourth season in the league. He's going to be 26 years old in his physical prime as a professional athlete, entering into that 5-year period of prime years. This is good. Plus, he wants to get paid. He's getting $2 million a year. Ain't nothing to sneeze at for us regular people. But when you're in the NBA and you're seeing people make, $200 million, you want something more than two, right? So I'm thinking if he can try to earn himself another contract and try to get something, in the $4 or $5 million range, that would be very happy for somebody like him, right? So we got a lot of positives with him. Again, I don't think of him as a rotation piece, and yet he's not really a guy that's not going to play. He's going to play. He's just not going. It's just going to be just like I said. Wherever Mitchell Robinson is not starting, Sims will start, and then you'll have Precious just being consistently manning the second unit. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty good. I always had confidence in Precious and Sims, and then given both of their development, especially both of them coming into their career. Like I said, Precious has had 3 or 4 different coaches in 3 or 4 years, and never consistency in any place he's been in terms of his playing time. He's going to get that with the Knicks. I think he's going to benefit, and the Knicks going to benefit greatly. Sims, having been stuck behind guys like Mitchell Robinson, like Isaiah Hartenstein, haven't been able to get in consistent minutes this year, will be able to. And then he's already shown that him and Achua are very interchangeable on the court. They play very well together. They read off of each other very well. So this is going to be pretty good. And then we've all seen, well, I can't say we've all seen, but I've seen some videos of Sims practicing his mid-range jump shot, his little jump baby hook. He's got the athleticism. It's not easy to pick up stuff like that in the league. This ain't high school or college. You can just do a few practices in the summer and work on it and come back better. This is the league. And so if you can get incremental improvements in those areas, that would be tremendous. I think we'll see a little bit better mid-range shot from Jericho this year. And that's going to be a tremendous improvement offensively. But defensively, he just has to be really solid. That's the more important area, and rebounding. And so I'm looking forward to seeing Jericho get his chance to shine with Precious. And yeah, y'all enjoy your Labor Day, what's left of it. Shalom.